All right, so today we're jumping into a report that the technology and, the methods behind China's Great Firewall are actually starting to expand beyond its own borders. Let's get into it.
Okay, so what if the Great Firewall didn't have any walls? I mean, really think about that for a second. A system that was designed for national internet control, but it's not actually confined by national borders. The source material we're looking at today asks us to consider exactly that, a model for internet surveillance and censorship that might just be going global. Now, just so we're all on the same page here, everything we're about to cover comes straight from the source document that we're examining. Our job today is to break down the key claims and the evidence it presents, using these slides to kind of walk us through the story. So where does this story even begin? Well, according to the source, it starts with a key corporate player, a tech firm named Interset. And what does Interset actually do? Well, the report says they specialize in some pretty specific and powerful technologies. We're talking about tools for watching networks in real time, filtering online content, and, this is a big one, identifying and blocking traffic from virtual private networks, or VPNs, which people often use to get around censorship. The source gets into some specifics here. It alleges that Interset sells a product called the Tiana Network Security Gateway and describes it as a core piece of the Great Firewall's architecture. The report also mentions cooperation with telecom companies all over the world, in Southeast Asia, Africa, and Latin America. And it points to a big move in 2021, the acquisition of the Canadian firm Sandvine, a step that was allegedly taken to beef up its surveillance capabilities.
But here's the thing. The source suggests this is bigger than just one company acting on its own. These activities are reportedly all tied into a much, much broader national strategy, something called the Digital Silk Road.
So the source document basically frames this as the tech-focused arm of that massive Belt and Road initiative you've probably heard about. The idea isn't just about building physical things like roads and bridges, but also about exporting digital infrastructure, new standards, and technology to other countries. And this isn't just some abstract idea, right? The report points to actual countries where these technologies are allegedly being used. We're talking about a list that includes Belarus in Eastern Europe, Bahrain in the Middle East, Malaysia and Asia, and others, really highlighting what the source claims is a global expansion. And as you can probably imagine, these claims haven't exactly gone unnoticed. The source makes it a point to highlight the growing alarm from international rights organizations that are keeping a close eye on this trend. This concern is really summed up in a quote from Michael Castor, who's with the organization Article 19. He says, "The Great Firewall of China's engineering model is no longer confined to China's own network. Its management and control methods are crossing borders." And that, right there, is the central argument of the report, a national system allegedly becoming a global product. Okay, this brings us to the tech itself. At the very core of this whole issue is this constant, escalating battle, a real cat-and-mouse game between those trying to control internet access and those trying to find ways around the controls. Yeah, the report paints a picture of a really high-stakes technological chess match. On one side of the board, you have these incredibly sophisticated censorship firewalls, and on the other side, you've got circumvention tools like VPNs and services like Siphon, which have to constantly adapt and evolve just to find a way through. So how does the cat actually catch the mouse in this scenario? Well, the source cites an analysis from Siphon that breaks it down into a three-step dance. First, something called Deep Packet Inspection, or DPI, is used to sift through mountains of data to find the unique signature of VPN traffic. Then the firewall zeroes in for a much more detailed analysis. And finally, if it confirms it's a VPN, boom, the connection is blocked or just fails. But here's the kicker. This tech race is anything but a fair fight. The source suggests that the censorship technologies have a massive advantage. They're often state-funded and are constantly being updated. Meanwhile, the folks providing the circumvention tools, often smaller groups trying to provide free access, are left scrambling to find the resources just to keep up. And all of this leaves us with a final and pretty crucial question. The report we've just walked through presents one possible future for the internet, one that's based on control and surveillance. It really makes you ask, what kind of internet are we all building? And who ultimately gets to write the rules? Definitely something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.